So we've covered a lot of ground in this study, and we opened talking with Song of Solomon 2:12, talking about those little foxes that can creep in and ruin your marriage. We then moved on to talk about the purpose of marriage, which is not happiness, but rather its holiness. In the past 2 weeks, we talked about the process of becoming one.
So then this week, we're going to talk about that third little fox. And before we get into the content to open our conversation today, pause this video and answer this question. What are the most common topics couples have significant conflicts over? So think about this for a minute. Every conflict you've ever had with your spouse was the result of an unmet expectation. You expected something, whatever it was, and that didn't happen, or your spouse expected something and it didn't work out that way, and then that led to conflict. We call these unexpectations. They're unmet expectations that are either unvoiced, unshared, or simply unreasonable. So unvoiced expectations. This is pretty obvious, right? It's an expectation you had that you didn't communicate with your spouse. You wanted something to occur or you wanted things to be a certain way, but you didn't share that expectation with your spouse.
Unshared expectations are a subset of unvoiced expectations. These are expectations that seem so absolutely obvious that you don't think it's necessary to say anything about them. These might be coming out of your family of origin or just some experiences that you've had where you think that it is an absolute for everybody, but you're not necessarily going to be on the same page. So take this, for instance. You're hosting Christmas dinner in your home for the first time. The many other years that you've done this before, you've gone to the in-laws and you ask your spouse to go out and do the Christmas shopping. And your spouse comes home with a turkey, and you were absolutely expecting that it was so obvious that it was going to be a Christmas ham. Because, of course, in your mind, the Thanksgiving meal is going to be the turkey, but the Christmas meal is going to be the ham. And can you believe that your spouse did this? And maybe your spouse now, in your mind, is going to be wrecking dinner. And, of course, your spouse bought this because it was on sale, because no one eats Thanksgiving turkeys around Christmas time. Now, that's a little preposterous and sounds a little crazy, but can't we get a little crazy when we all have these unshared expectations?
And then, of course, there are some expectations that are just simply unreasonable. Expecting a spouse with a career to have dinner on the table every night at the same time when you get home is unreasonable. They've had a long work day. They have something going on. It's unreasonable to expect them to have the meal ready for you at the same time. Expecting your spouse to always respond the exact same way to your sexual advances. That's unreasonable. There's a lot going on in life. Things are going on. You can't expect every advance to be responded to in the same way. Or expecting your spouse to always understand and meet your emotional needs. They can't read you as easily as you might want them to. They can't read your mind. Sometimes they've got something going on and they're not going to understand your needs in that moment. All of these things are unexpectations. They're unmet because, well, they're unreasonable.
So this session on Unexpectations is one of our most popular for Operation Thriving Marriage. And I think the reason for that is because it helps couples to be able to see and label and even frame their conflicts in a way that makes sense. When you understand this concept, it's going to help you resolve most conflicts that you're going to come across in your marriage. And as you continue our study today, you're going to talk more about identifying these unexpectations and how to work through them together so as to continue to strengthen your marriage.